Hey all, Ross here. Now, whilst we wait on the next episode of the Out of Ice podcast, I thought I would introduce you all to another one of the Out of Ice Network members. That, of course, is the Tanked Up podcast, who invited me on this week, and here is our latest episode. Make sure you check them out.
Welcome to Tanked Up, the #1 transatlantic podcast about video games and craft beer. I'm Ben Noga. I'm joined this week by Adol Koji.
Hello.
And for his first time appearance on the Tanked Up podcast, right from the Out of Lives network, it's Mr. Ross Miller.
Hello, how are we doing?
Yeah, good man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fantastic. Just keen to get some drinking, some beer and talking games.
Excellent, excellent. Well, as with every week, we're going to drink beer and we're going to talk games. So, what's everyone's first beer they're going to crack into? Adol?
Well, so this week is locals. Well, it's Stout Week, and I'm going to start.
Stout Week for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't care about you. I'm not in the same room as you. And I'm going to start with the Martello Stout by Garrison Brewery, which I've talked about several times. They're the.
Yep.
What did you say? Yeah, the brewery that's in a castle, I think?
Yeah, I can't remember what I said. I was probably pissed, so that's fine.
Yeah. So they're in the old garrison by the shore in Halifax.
By the shore.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Ross, how about you? What are you starting with?
So I'm starting now. I'm just going to say, being a Scotsman, I've went for all Scottish-made beers tonight.
Yeah.
I've got to get them out there. So I'm going to start with one that you might, or a brewer you might have heard of, and that's McEwen's.
Mm-hmm.
Now, McEwen's is generally rotten, so it'll be interesting to see their general lager is rotten, so it'll be interesting to see what this is. I'm fascinated because it just says award-winning ale. It doesn't have anything else descriptive on it, so this is going to be...
What's the name of it?
McEwen's Champion.
Champion. Oh, perfect.
Nice. So, Do
you think they changed the name when they won the award?
Possibly.
Was it like McEwen's second best?
No,
for ages?
it was McEwen's entry, and then it became McEwen's champion, clearly.
Nice. I'm going to start, I think, with a beer by Powder Keg, who are down in Devon. I was away in a caravan for a weekend and ended up in a craft beer pub, very random to find in Exmouth because it's a very small place. And these guys were on tap and they did a very good rye IPA. So I thought I'd start off with this one. And this is a transatlantic pale.
It's transatlantic?
It is.
Oh.
That's why I picked it. It's all about being transatlantic. Obviously, we're coming from 3 different countries right now. So not only transatlantic, we're multinational.
Well, we were multinational before.
Duo-national, I think you're fine.
Turns out 2 is a multiple.
Yeah, whatever. So, how is everyone? Had a little bit of their beer yet?
I haven't.
I haven't, no. I'm not, just to say, I'm not going to discuss the colour and all that stuff with you because I'm drinking it out the bottle because it'll go against my religion to drink that out of a glass.
No glasses ever.
Never.
My stout smells like a stout. It's got not a lot of sort of malty or coffee smells. It's just sort of that smooth sweetness that you get with stouts.
Yeah.
It's actually, there's some transparency to it, but it's mostly opaque. Surprise, surprise.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice. It's got a nice little sharp taste, first of all. Although the aftertaste is, I don't know what that is. It's almost a little sour.
Okay.
Just for a moment.
Stout.
I'll ruminate.
Yeah. Well, mine is very, very pale. I thought it was going to be a little bit hoppier than it was, considering it's got sort of Chinook and Palisade and Cascade and Citra.
How does it smell? Does it smell super hoppy? Like maybe they were all in the dry hop?
No, not at all, really.
Oh,
it
weird.
Smells. It's very carbonated. It's just a bit the flavour's quite nice. It's a little bitter, not too much, but it's almost a bit more. Even though it's a bit more carbonated, it's quite a traditional sort of English beer, really.
Like it tastes more like a standard pale ale with lots of bubbles.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure what the hops are doing in this.
Hiding, apparently.
How about you, Ross? How's yours? How's the McEwen's?
It's actually nicer than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But it tastes more like an English ale than what you would typically find up here. It's got toffee, is the only way I can describe to it.
Nice.
So it's got that sweet sort of taste to it. And there's something fruity, but I can't quite decipher what it was. Maybe a burger for dinner was a bad idea. But, it is like a lot better than what I expected.
Good.
But it is a hefty 7.3%, so I'm going to be on my backside. Sorry, I'm on a podcast. No, I'm going to be standing tall.
You'll be fine. You'll be the same as we are at the end of every episode, just absolutely trash.
Now, you said it was it's better than you expected, but would you seek it out?
Possibly, actually, because it's the only way I can describe it is it's a lot richer than what I was expecting. I like quite rich tastes, and I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting to go, considering I've got pale ales, I was expecting this not to be that rich as well, and it really is. Because it's got that toffee taste. It feels as if it's got a lot of, I don't know, I'm terrible at describing things in this sense, but it's complex. It's complex to say that it's got something sort of like toffee in it, but it's also got a fruity taste.
Right.
Yeah.
That way it's hard to describe that, so it's intrigued me more than anything.
Some beers have got absurdly complex flavours. That they've got so much in there. It's so hard to pick just one thing out. I think it was
also if someone says something like grapefruit, then everyone's going to smell grapefruit in there.
Yeah. Excellent.
Except me, it'd be really weird if there was grapefruit in this sour.
Yeah,
although it does have that sour note. It's more of I don't even know what that sour is.
You still can't get that one?
No,
that's fair.
I tend to find it putting a little bit on my beard gives me a lot more of the smell. I can decipher a lot more from that.
That's a good idea. That's a very good idea. As we're all bearded men, we shall now do that.
Yeah, I was going to say. I just noticed we were all bearded.
So, for listeners, this week we're going to talk about some games we've been playing whilst enjoying these delightful beers. We're also going to discuss a topic on Baldur's Gate, as we have dubbed it, about the backlash that the new Baldur's Gate expansion has had for including characters slightly more diverse than your standard archetypal guy. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
I believe the term you're looking for is cisgendered.
Yes, that is the term. As lots of people have been screaming in comments and things on the internet. Anyway, let's allow Ross, our guest, to talk about a game he's been playing this week, last week. Any game you like.
So I'm going to get in there. I know you're going to be disappointed for me to get in with this first, but I've been playing Quantum Break.
Me too.
So much better than I wouldn't like to say expected. I wasn't a huge Alan Wake fan. I never finished the game, and I wasn't too bothered about Quantum Break. I wasn't as hyped, and when I got it and I started playing it, I thought, wow, this is really, really good. It's very invested. It's got a fantastic the background story, everything else, the way you collect things, and it gives you your story. It just means that you totally become invested in the characters, and then you have the short 20-minute TV episodes just to lace it all together. And it's, for me, probably my highlight of the year so far.
Really?
Yeah,
it's only the first 2 days out, but yeah, it's probably been the most excited I've been to pick up a game again.
Nice.
I think the difference for me between this and Alan Wake, experience-wise, is that Alan Wake had a story, a lot of effort put into the story, but the gameplay was less so. And the gameplay's excellent in this game. The different time powers you get can really be stitched together in different ways, depending on your mood. I've done fights where I could, you can just abuse one or two of the moves, or you can just, zip around because you can. I I'm playing it on hard, and I still think the pistol's the best weapon.
Yeah, I would agree, but have you turned off auto aim?
Oh, I don't know. Probably not, because I
Right.
didn't realize it had auto aim.
Yeah, well, if you may notice, it does pull towards the centre of the chest, no matter where you aim for in the body. And I'm finding that I'm enjoying it a lot more that I've turned off the aim assist.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Because it's a lot more challenging. And a few people said, oh, it's not that challenging once you get used to the mechanic. And that does up the ante because, you know, you do have missed shots and things like that. So my issue with auto aim is I naturally feel as if I'm aiming for the head, and that was pulling me away from it.
Yeah, I was going to say,
So,
I headshot all the time.
Yeah.
Nice. So this is by Remedy,
Yeah.
who also made the first 2 Max Payne games.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is a bit more akin, I suppose, to something like Max Payne. It's a third-person shooter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Without bullet time though, no jumping to the side.
Well, you have like pockets of bullet time.
Yeah.
But isn't it from what? Because I've only seen a few clips of it and a couple of trailers and things. Isn't it all about time?
Yeah, but like you don't just like right click. Obviously, I played Max Payne not on a console. You don't just click and then time slows down and you can sort of aim. You can do things like shoot a bubble at the enemies, and then their time is slowed in that bubble, and so you can fire like 15 bullets into the bubble, and when it stops, all 15 bullets go straight into the guy's head. Because obviously that's what you're aiming for. It also they don't explain this, but it just magically makes them hurt more because they were, which I think isn't really needed, but so you got stuff like that, but there's no way to just stop time.
Okay.
Which I think is really refreshing. I think I tweeted the first few hours of my playing through with minimal spoilers. Like there's a construction yard, spoiler alert. But I think I still stand by that. When I first played Max Payne, it was like, holy shit, this is a revolution in action genre. I love this to bits. It's still one of my favorite games. And even after the first couple powers, that's exactly how I felt with this Quantum Break. I felt like it was an actual innovation in the shooter genre.
Yeah.
Which I haven't really seen for a while. It's been sort of bullet time a lot, or a lot of sort of cover-based mechanics, which this does. Very fluidly. Most of the time, you just run into a spot and you'll just automatically go for cover. But to be honest, it reminded me a lot of given that I was playing The Division a bunch, of The Division. In that you're collecting, it's actually quite similar. Cover-based, third-person. You collect it. All the collectibles are sort of backstory and information about the world, which, as Ross pointed out, it really works. We talked last week about how collectibles are bullshit, but this is the time where it's not, because you're actually getting more information about the world. You're not just, picking up a golden coin.
I'll give you an example right at the beginning of the game. You're entering a university, and there's a tent to your left-hand side, and there's a TV. And on that TV, it starts playing a video of Alan Wake Returns.
Oh, really?
It's about a minute and a half long.
Yeah.
It's just like a trailer for another Alan Wake, basically. And it's little things on a blackboard. There's written stuff about other games that they've done. I won't go into that because that's a bit further on. But that way, that it's the depth that they've put into interlacing all of their previous games as well as the current story on the boards and everything else, the collectibles, is phenomenal. They tell a story like no one else.
Yeah. Excellent. I mean, from the limited stuff I've seen, it looks beautiful.
Oh yeah.
In terms of lighting, and the character models and the environments and backgrounds.
I will say that the cutscenes are some of the best CGI I've ever seen, but because of that, it makes the character models look worse. Like when you have that transition, you're like, "Whoa, he looks not right. His eyes are buggy." And I'm pretty sure if I didn't keep seeing those cutscenes, I'd be like, because the rest of the world is gorgeous, but I just have this problem with character models, and I think it's just because I keep seeing this gorgeous version of the exact same characters in the exact same room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a quibble. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
And the opposite of that, though, there was a couple of times where it's transitioned from a cutscene into game, and I haven't noticed. And I'm wondering why he's just standing there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm different from you. You know, that way, like, I actually think could be a difference in platform. Not sure. But for me, I've not noticed any difference, although I'm half blind, so.
Fair enough.
I mean, I think I had that with one of the Uncharted games where there was a bit of an action scene. I think it was the second one, and it just rolls into gameplay, and I just stood there for 30 seconds thinking, this is very odd. Oh, I can move. And I think it was then with Uncharted 3, every time it came out of a scene, it would sweep the camera around in such a way that you knew it was coming around to the back of the character to
that's really
signify
smart.
when you were able to move. So that's, I suppose it doesn't give you anything like that. It just allows you to just roll through into the...
In Uncharted, are they FMV cutscenes or in engine?
In engine cutscenes.
See, that helps a lot too, right?
Yeah.
I will say I might just be a victim of my display because I'm playing on a 1080p 103-inch projection. So you can see sort of all the jaggies and stuff a lot more than if you were looking at a smaller screen because there's just not enough pixel density. So it might be that, and I wouldn't be surprised if I played it on a normal screen if I didn't have this quibble nearly as much.
You're both playing on Xbox One, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were playing on PC, sorry.
No.
I was going to say, because it has also released on PC, right?
Yeah.
I actually haven't figured out where to get the code.
It's sent within 7 days of release.
Yeah, so I haven't got it yet.
So is it
cross-buy
between, is it?
Well, it's not multiplayer, but you got a free code. If you buy it on Xbox One, you get a free Windows code.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's sort of pushing their cross-play approach. So I'm actually really curious. I'm going to try and do an A/B of the two.
Does it cloud save?
Yeah. That's one of the things you can resume on your PC and vice versa.
I didn't know that.
Would be almost the only reason why they would give you both versions, really.
For such a story-based game, it'd be really preposterous to have to start again. Although then you could kind of pick a couple different choices.
Okay, is it choice-driven?
Yeah, the movies, the way parts of the game, you still... Oh, I don't want to...
So
I can say this. You still come to the same eventual outcome.
Okay.
But you can go about it different ways with decisions that you make throughout the game. So there's a sort of good way and a bad way.
Yeah,
so I'm going to play through it twice and try and do the good way and then the bad way, if that makes sense. So.
It's kind of like unscripted TV, like Curb Your Enthusiasm. There's the skeleton plot where we need to get from here to here, and that's never going to change. But then there's a few choice points where you can meander around.
Okay.
I was doing hand signals on an audio medium because I'm that bright.
We can see. What does that actually change in game then? If you make one decision over another, does it take you down a different path? You go in a different environment, or does it just open up different dialogue?
Some characters might not be there anymore because
I don't know because I haven't done 2 playthroughs to find out yet. So I'll come back to you with that, but I just don't know yet.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
We're trying to evade spoilers as much as possible.
No, that's fair.
So,
I think if we wrap up on Quantum Break, the one thing I will ask, and I'll go to you first, Ross, because you mentioned it right at the beginning. You've got this dual aspect where you've got game and then TV or short acted sequences. How well do they translate between each other? Do you feel like you're massively pulled out of it, or does it do enough that the story carries on to keep you within the game as such?
They've been smart about it because it's not the story of you that it cuts to.
Okay.
The game, as they put it themselves, the game is about the good guys. The TV is about the bad guys.
Right. Okay.
So it cuts to the what's the corporation called?
Monarch.
Monarch. So it cuts to Monarch, and I actually still think that the first episode of that's the best one for me, anyway. But it does it well because you're seeing the other side of the story and making your actions and why things happen in game worthwhile. And it really does add to the game, in my mind, anyway. It's not huge budget television. There's not huge explosions or anything else. But there is enough to keep you interested, and 20 minutes for me is a good length.
Yeah, I was going to say 20 minutes is great, and it also, from a technical standpoint, it really shows off how much effort they put into modeling these characters, because it's so bang on. Like, if you weren't familiar with some of the actors, you would just say, "Holy shit, this looks like the person."
Yeah, that's because it's got the two actors that I know off the top of my head is
Iceman from X-Men 2,
Littlefinger from Game of Thrones.
See, everyone says that, like Game of Thrones, right? He's the guy from Queer as Folk, right? That's just
so he is.
That's just the thing.
Yeah, all right, okay, yeah.
Which guy?
I don't watch Game of Thrones, so
I don't either, and I didn't watch Queer as Folk, so I still don't know which actor.
I don't know what character he plays.
He plays the main villain.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, why? I can't remember what I've seen him in before. And there's also the sergeant from The Wire.
Yeah, he's in it. And one of the Hobbits is in it. Dermot Monaghan.
Yeah, that was the other actor that I'd seen that I recognised. Which
I'm just currently watched a lot of because of the 100 code, so I was actually quite keen to see him again in something. Yeah. So yeah.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like from the way you both described it, and both saying that Quantum Break is at the moment at the top of your lists for games that have come out this year, best experience that you had, that it's definitely something to pick up.
Yeah.
Nice. Good. Right, I'm going to open another beer. Because
you're so fast.
Well, I know, but I only added the powder keg was a tiny, tiny little beer.
It also helps when you're not the one talking, because then you just sit there, listen, and drink.
Exactly. I could just.
I'm not talking this whole next second.
Ben, before you or while you crack into that, maybe you should tell us about a game you've played.
I will. I will show you first that I'm going for a Bristol-made
Wiper and True. Oh, jealous already.
It's an amber ale made primarily with Amarillo hops. If you normally listen to us, and if you're a new listener, Wiper and True is one of the best breweries in Bristol, one of the best breweries, I think, and I think Alex would also agree, one of the best breweries in the country. Makes some fantastic, very complex beers.
Brewdog.
Oh, no. I'm going to have to interject. Wiper and True is better than Brewdog. We'll have to track you down a bottle or two. And
we'll have to post you some bottles.
I'm sure I'll find some. I'll look it up later and I'll make sure I try it.
Yeah, they're sort of big enough that they do have a bit of a national reach. You can get them in a few places across the country, I believe. Not sure if they've made their way all the way up to Scotland yet, but I'm sure you can find them if you try.
You like our beer here, so...
Yeah, that's true. We like our beer here as well. This is why Bristol's great. So, I thought the game I'd talk about was something I'd only played for an hour, which is the Final Fantasy 15 demo.
I haven't tried that out yet.
Have you not? Have you, Ross?
Nope, I've not touched it.
Quantum Break took my time, and then I needed a break from that, and then I played Division, and I was like, oh wait, this is remarkably the same type of experience, but without the time stuff.
Yeah. Well, Final Fantasy 15 is a very different game. That's some good cats. Do either of you remember what the subtitle to the demo is? I haven't got a clue.
Like I said, I know. I barely registered that it was out.
Okay, no, that's fair. Basically, it's a short demo of Final Fantasy 15 that took me about an hour to get through. It's, I believe, a section that isn't going to appear within the game.
So it's a demo of not the game.
So it's a demo of the
engine,
really. And my first comment on it is that it feels a lot more like a tech demo than an actual demo. You are, I think, the character called Noctis, and it's going to be the main character from the game. But you're as a young boy, and you're walking around a dream with a tiny little fox that's guiding you through this dream. It's third person. It's an action game, more in the vein of the newer Final Fantasies like 12 and 13, right, rather than the more traditional JRPGs like, you know, the rest of them, apart from the online ones. And it's all right. I will elaborate, but I'm going to try this beer first. I'll show everybody.
What did you crack open? I still have virtually all of my... The problem with Stout Day, I've realized, is that you don't really chug stouts.
No, you don't. Definitely not.
That one looks also quite heady.
Yeah, it is. It's probably my paw. It's very... I'm trying to get it within camera.
Can I say, like, chug in Scotland is something different?
Oh. What have I done now?
Just offended loads of people.
No, you still end up with a creamy head.
Yeah.
But,
nice.
Yeah, that's the level of my humour.
That's okay. We always like to earn that E on iTunes for our episodes.
Well, I don't think you can get an E for that, can you?
Probably not. We do like to throw in some inappropriate puns every now and again.
Yeah.
So I am going to say it. This beer has a very slight hint of grapefruit. It has that
citrus, but
slightly more tropically fruity flavour. Than it's not very citrus really. It's a bit more maybe pineapple-y, maybe grapefruity, something along those lines. But again, Wiper and True make some absurdly complex beers, and it tastes just so smooth, and you've not really got a huge amount of bitterness.
Does the taste sort of stay steady throughout, or is the sort of initial impression different from let's say the finish or the main taste?
No, it does stay pretty steady throughout the whole taste, which is again something that Wiper and True do very well. They're very balanced flavours which just remain whilst tasting the beer. There's no sort of difference in aftertaste really. So it's nice, and I'm going to talk about a game now, and I'm going to regret that because I really want to drink this beer because it's very nice. So I'll talk about Final Fantasy 15 very quickly. Not very quickly, just in a short space of time. So, yeah, as I said, the Final Fantasy 15 demo is very akin to the more modern Final Fantasy games. Mostly 13, which is probably the most recent one that I've played. Not my favourite.
Have you played all of the 13s or just 13.1?
No, I played the first 13 and then 13.2. I completed the original 13.
It's a game called Final Fantasy. It should have ended at 1.
Yeah.
Well, that was the point.
Yeah.
But it just sold too well for them to not make another one. What were they called at the time? Squaresoft? Yeah. They just wanted to make some monies. But yeah, I played 13.2. Didn't really like it very much. I'm not really a fan of the way that they've moved more into action games. Still with a lot of the RPG elements. Still with a lot of the upgrade systems.
I think it's because they made them much more linear.
Yeah. So
I didn't finish 13, but it was on a track.
Yes, yeah, massively. And this is definitely something that the demo, at least, for 15 was three different areas which you move through, and the odd thing about it, which I've never experienced within a Final Fantasy game, is that you had to collect, as you move through the environment, small gems, and you had a
gems
counter
or crystals?
at the top. They might have been crystals.
Yeah, Final Fantasy is basically magic, summons, and crystals. That's the only thing that's steady throughout the whole thing.
Maybe they were crystals, but I had a small counter in the top of the top left of the screen. And as I accumulated these crystals, small pads on the ground started to light up, and you'd get a pad sort of within each. You have a small area, you move through a little bit of a landscaped corridor into the next area, and there was maybe a little pad, and I'd collected 10 of these crystals, and the pad lit up. And as soon as I stood on the pad, and this is why I think it's more of a tech demo, it sped up time. So suddenly we went from brilliant sunshine to nighttime very quickly, and it really showcased that change in daylight, in time, in environment lighting. There's also other little pads. You can change the weather, and it's basically trying to show off what this engine can do. There was a little bit of combat, not really.
Really? It's an action-based RPG that had very little combat in the demo?
Yeah. I mean, you had a few small beasts that attacked you, and the combat, because it is more of an action-based game, it's not quite as hack and slash as a lot of games. It's not sort of triangle for a large attack, square for a short attack. I believe it was circle just to attack and then square to dodge, and they were the two different
fuck those other
that
buttons.
I could do exactly.
The NES was the right amount of buttons.
I don't even remember touching the other buttons. Did I jump? Maybe at times, but not during combat, or at least not during the early parts of combat. You do have on the D-pad different options to pick different weapons and abilities, which does pull away from normal Final Fantasy a little bit, where it's a very menu-based system. You pick different attacks to do. This was press right on the D-pad and you get your sword out. Press left on the D-pad and you can throw a firework. Was one of the early things that I picked up. Shouldn't really do very much.
What's a firework? It's pretty.
Yeah. That was pretty much what it is. It exploded in the sky, or 10 feet above the sky, and made a noise, and everybody cheered.
10 feet above the sky is pretty high.
Maybe. I'm nearly 6 foot, so it's not really that high.
10 feet above the sky.
Above the sky. Yeah.
I understand what I said now, yeah.
Like you're hanging out with Sandra Bullock while she's imagining George Clooney.
Yeah.
I'm only one beer in as well. How well am I doing? But yeah, you basically moved through two different environments. You did a few different things. You battled a few creatures. You unlocked these gems, and were able to step on these different paths and experience how well the engine can work. And I think the final area gave you a bit more of what you're actually going to experience within the game. So you come within this area. I'm trying not to laugh at what I said. And you suddenly turn into you're no longer this young character. You turn into the older version, who I think is the same character model that was in the original demo that they released.
Now, is that because you stepped on the aging pad?
No pad was needed. Instantly aged.
So she's got an IUD. Sorry, continue.
No, I was just going to say, before you came into that area, were you chugging, or?
No, just collected gems. Just
okay, that's fine.
I like how
you're selling this game.
Ross goes for the callback, and I go for the period joke.
But yeah, you got into this final area, and suddenly a large. I can't remember what they're normally called. It's almost like an iron giant. It's a large creature with a giant sword. And suddenly, as the older version, you get into what I would think is combat within the actual game itself. And suddenly, the other buttons started to do stuff. So triangle allows you to throw your sword and warp to another point.
Like to where you threw the sword?
To where you threw the sword. X and jump then become a lot more prevalent in combat, because you can jump up, throw your sword into different areas to get higher attacks. obviously, you can change through loads of different weapons, and you're able to. I think I picked up an ability called something like Meteor during where you'd throw something and a rain of meteors would come down.
Which is another
crush
FF trope.
Exactly, it's a big staple within Final Fantasy. So, the right at the end of the demo, you did feel more within a very modern Final Fantasy game, but much more than you did right at the start of it. And it was kind of enjoyable. I enjoy Final Fantasy games. 15 is probably something that I'm thinking of picking up very close to release. If not a few weeks after, possibly. I don't think the demo sold it to me any more than
the fact that it's a Final Fantasy.
Yeah, completely. I think the main downfall of it was that it's really jagged and the textures tear a little bit with each other.
Oh, I thought you meant like the experience was like.
Well.
But you actually mean it looks bad.
Graphically, it didn't look fantastic. It didn't quite. It looks good, but
not polished.
It doesn't look polished at all. So you're accompanied by this little fox, which is the carbuncle summon, which is another staple from Final Fantasy games. And just the hair effects didn't look fantastic. The characters' hair didn't look fantastic. Even though the wind and the lighting and things had been put in, I didn't really see that change the character model very much. So suddenly there was all of this rain and wind coming in, and it didn't seem to affect the character model a huge amount. And whether that's just because it is a demo version, and the demo version might be of an engine that's a month old as to where the engine is now in terms of polish for them to be able to get it out. So I'm hoping that they have. Well, I think it comes out. Final Fantasy 15 was released, I think, in September, so they've still got time to be able to make everything look a little bit better. But yeah, if you enjoy Final Fantasy and you enjoyed the more recent action-orientated games, then it's definitely something to try out to get a feel for the full release of Final Fantasy 15. But ultimately, it didn't really do that much for me. It was sort of an hour of my life that I thought I should probably be playing The Division.
That's sad. I've played all of the Final Fantasy games, including the MMOs.
Yeah.
Although I didn't play 14 until after they rebooted it.
A Realm Reborn. Which,
using the meteor trope, they just had the entire world hit by a meteor summoned by a giant Bahamut. Oh no! Yeah, he took one of the moons and crashed it into the planet, and then they were like, "Everything's different now."
Very Final Fantasy.
Yeah, but that I don't know. Like, I didn't finish 13. My horrible completionist collector means that I have on Steam all 3 of 13.
Yeah.
But the fact it was on rails. I guess what really bothered me was it was on rails and the writing wasn't good.
Yeah, agreed.
If it was more open world, like the old school Final Fantasies, and the writing's not good, that's okay, because I could just fuck around and explore. Like in FF7, I completely went MIA for a long period of time, you know, especially when the fledgling internet was telling us that there's the summons in this random place, and you need to breed a golden chocobo to get your golden chocobo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sort of make it more enjoyable. But if I'm stuck to a story that's garbage, I'm not going to continue because I'm too old for this shit.
That's fair. Ross, do you play the Final Fantasy games?
Not since 7.
Oh, what a great game, though. Are you excited about the No, me neither.
And the fact it's going to be episodic? No.
I believe I did read today that they have clarified that it is going to be a trilogy, that it's not episodic as such. There is just going to be 3 parts to it.
Of course, because it originally came on 3 discs.
Completely. So there is when you originally played the game, there was a very specific cut-off point with each disc. Now, whether that will be the same with the releases.
So they're going to take 150 off of me instead of 50?
Yeah, probably.
I
And they would do it as well.
Yeah.
I
Can I interrupt to just say that the second one's getting open? I'm not waiting any longer.
Oh,
No, don't wait any
no,
longer. Don't wait any longer. You should definitely just interrupt and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
scream. Yeah.
I
So
will
three-
say that what really disappoints me about the remake is they're changing the way you interact with the world.
Right.
So, like, it's not standard FF menu-based combat, etc. They're doing new things, and I can see the appeal to that, especially with kids these days and their Call of Duty and their Twitch. But then it's not
disagree.
Final
I
Fantasy.
disagree. What is one of the most played games is Pokemon.
Fair.
It's still that system. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
as big with kids today as it was back then.
Fair
so
enough.
to say that that they can't concentrate on these things, Pokemon would stop selling if that was the case, or that, or it wouldn't be as good, or wouldn't be. Oh God, these beers do affect you. But like I just think that someone down the line decided that this is what people are going to like,
Yeah.
instead
yeah.
of asking. And I know Final Fantasy VII's going back to that, and for a purist in the sense that I've got so many fond childhood, and I mean childhood memories of Final Fantasy VII, that it almost puts me off it, because I'm like, no, I want a remake to be exactly that, a remake using the same type of mechanic. It can look polished, it can look sharper,
Exactly,
better
yeah.
graphics, a little bit changes, a little few Easter eggs, things like that, but keep the core gameplay the same for me.
Yeah.
And too many of these changes put me off, and it's what's put me off the recent Final Fantasies even bothering with them.
It's a fair comment. I think
You
I
should
just
play
tried
9, though.
to.
It's quite good.
Sorry.
I said you should play 9. It's quite good. It's like a throwback to old school, like your Black Mage looks like a Black Mage, etc.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, 9 was very good. I've got a soft spot for 8 just because it came at a very seminal period of time in my life.
It was seminal but soft.
Ooh, very good. Yeah, I'm going to shut up now and just drink my beer.
Ross, why don't you tell us about your beer that you just cracked on that?
Yep, so this is a Crofter's Pale Ale, another Scottish one. So it describes a easy drinking golden ale. I'm not as knowledgeable as you guys, so I can't go into relevant
it's all
contents and
bullshit.
things.
Yeah, we just guess normally.
Alex
Yes,
is the one who knows shit.
It kind of tastes like this.
Yeah, it's described as a smooth malt flavour accompanied by rounded bitterness fruit floral finish. Bitterness fruit, you know what that means?
Go on.
What's it going to be if it's bitterness fruit?
Grapefruit.
Yeah.
Always grapefruit.
No,
I don't know why. It's a very popular flavour at the moment for a lot of beers. We seem to find this quite a lot. At least one of the beers that we
I
have
think
in
it's
the week
because-
will be grapefruit.
Craft beer is almost so IPA centric, and you get that bitterness from all the hops.
Yeah.
But citrus is just a very complexifying flavor.
Yeah.
It's very hoppy in that sense. It's quite bitter. In comparison to what I've had before, which was a lovely rich taste, this is a lot. I know it's a pale ale now, but it's a lot. It's a lot fruitier.
Okay.
I'm not liking it so far, to be honest with you. That's based upon my first drink. You know what I mean? It's like
Is it
playing Final Fantasy 15 for 10 minutes.
it's a is it a
Nothing to do with
sort
me. I
of
don't know what you're talking about.
one-dimensional flavor? Is it the same flavor throughout, or
Ooh. Tension.
I hate to say it.
You're going to
I just
put that
hit my
one.
mic with my nose. It tastes a bit like grapefruit.
Of course it does.
It's a very, very, and maybe it would have tasted a little bit better had I not had the McEwen's Champion, such a rich taste to start with.
Yeah.
That suddenly to have a sharp taste like this is just a bit off-putting.
Yeah.
But it's quite bitter in that sense. You know, you get that real bitterness to it, which is something I usually really like. But certainly at the moment, it's 2 out of 2.
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of hours before we started. I had a Beavertown skulking double IPA.
Oh, Jesus.
Well,
That'll mess up your palate for sure.
Yeah, but it was a couple of hours ago.
Oh, yeah, I
I've
just
drunk
mean...
some water since then. But normally, we would try to start off, at least if the beer tells you what it is, try and start with the lightest beers first and roll into the heavier beers. But when you've got beers that just say award-winning beer and you have no idea what the fuck they are, it's very difficult to try and do that. So yeah, we have found that with some beers, they definitely taint the palate to then just ruin the next beer that you have completely.
Versus some beers which have a palate of taint.
Exactly.
Did you say paint there?
I said taint.
Oh, I thought you said paint. I was
No.
like, what beers are you drinking?
Oh, I'm in North America, so there are really
True.
tainty beers out here.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, I was going to come on, and anyone that knows me knows I now and again appear as this boss person. And I was going to appear as the boss tonight and not tell you. And have a can of Stella, a bottle of Budweiser, and a can of Super Lager, and just like go through and describe them with you. But I thought, no, better not. I better play this up, you know. And
Ooh, that would have been
That would have been interesting.
you never know, the boss might come on again if you invite him.
Fair
just
enough.
appears suddenly from
Yeah.
nowhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Right.
Now,
As
I think we should probably all talk The Division for a couple minutes, because I know all three of us have been playing it.
I haven't played it in a week.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Quantum break, or just because you've fallen out with it?
Well, QB's only been out for 2 days, so...
Yeah.
Oh, you were not in your house, though, right?
No, I was away for a few days, to be fair. I'm still not level cap.
Okay.
I'm only 14.
Yeah, I think I'm
I mean-
22.
I'm 27.
Maturity level.
All right.
Um,
But, like, I don't know. I really, really like it, but only when I've got 3 other friends to play with.
Okay.
oh, you should try playing it on the PC, because no one I know does that.
So that you can just be a twosome and just.
Hey,
run through
I'm playing on PS4.
I play by myself.
I can give you a bunch of PS4 people that can play with you, but
Yeah, I have linked up with a couple of the Out of Lives guys, Adam, and a few other people, and Luke. So it's definitely better when you're playing with more people, and you can actually interact with them and talk to them, and you can get a little bit of tactics going when you go into one of the mission areas, and you're actually able to understand what's happening, rather than most of my experience, which is either running around the streets by myself and then trying to quick matchmake with a few people to get a slightly harder experience, I suppose, within the missions. I think, as we Adam and I talked on the last episode, it is a very hard game.
yeah.
It doesn't let up with the whole bullet sponge enemies, and they can hit you very quickly and drain your life really quickly as well.
Especially the flamethrower units, the
fuck.
cleaners are.
Yeah.
There's a mission where you end up in a sort of enclosed space with waves upon waves of sort of enemies coming at
Is
you.
that the water treatment one, or are you?
I think it is.
Yeah.
No, not the. No, it's not.
Later
It's
than
an
that?
It's an outdoor enclosed space, so it's maybe about a level 10 or 12. But there is like a couple of sets of stairs either side. But literally, you are bombarded with flame units consistently for about 10 minutes, and if you have to reload at any one point, you're screwed. No, if you can't hold them back, because they take so many bullets
Yeah. Well,
to kill.
if you headshot or tank shot them.
Tank shot was the only way forward, and that, to be
Tank
honest, that's
shot.
the only way we get
I
through it.
avoid headshots on those units because I'm just so entertained by, first of all, having their tank explode on them, but also the way the other units around them react. Like
Yeah.
the first time I saw another cleaner, like, try and run and trip over himself to get away from his mate who's going to explode, I was like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. And it doesn't get old. Like, I've done this
No.
hundreds of times probably, but still,
Yeah,
watching the
that's so
guys
true.
panically run, it's just so well animated. And it's exactly what you'd be like, oh shit,
just fall into a crate or take cover behind it. So Ross, if you're playing with other people, are you finding that you're speccing yourself to be a team player? That each of the people within your team are taking on various roles, that you're setting your abilities and skills to help everybody out? Or have you just been rolling in as you were playing sort of solo in the streets? Streets?
Because I've got one particular friend that I've been playing through the whole game that's the same level as me, that we haven't really played without one of the others being on. And we have been opposite spec from each other to help each other. That really, we're so used to that anyone else doesn't bother us, so I've never had to switch them up. Okay. I've never used the little BB-8 thing that follows you, that shoots off.
Yeah.
I've never used the station that you put down, just because I'm quite happy with what I've got, which is my gun, my sentry, and my healing, and I'm quite happy at that.
Yeah.
What level are you?
27.
Okay. So you're close-ish.
I'm close-ish, yeah. I've only got one mission to do or something, but it's just been because I don't want to do it after playing through the whole game with my one friend, Quasi-Drunk, if you ever want to add him on Xbox. I've just been the two of us, but we'll do that together, and then we'll go to the Dark Zone.
Yeah, how have you found the Dark Zone?
Fine. There's not enough reward for going rogue, so what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, it was really tense the first few times, and then it's sort of now, nah. You're always going to get an asshole that's going about try to kill people. Although in the beta was one of a really surprising moments in gaming for me. When you go rogue and they're not in a party, they're just using them game chat, you can hear what they're saying.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you talking about this on Live. So.
Yeah, basically. So there was myself and Liam were downstairs in this building, and there was two guys rogue above us, and we could hear everything that they were saying. Like, you stand at the top of these stairs, you stand here. And I was like to Liam, just you throw a grenade up there, I'll put one up there, I'll throw a sentry, that's it, done. And he's like, no worries. That's
quality, because that makes it a much more believable, real experience. That if you are within, it's the same as the one thing that I loved about DayZ was when you talk, everybody can hear you within a certain radius.
Yeah,
right.
But it is a very realistic experience. If you are, as you say, downstairs and you're thinking of going up, and there are people up there chatting, you should be able to listen to them.
That I think there needs to be more of that. I know there's privacy issues, but there must be a way to turn that off. But then how many people turn it off? Because it's a disadvantage.
I was going to say, the privacy issues should just be, do you use your mic or not, right? If you're opting to use your mic, you're opting into all voice in the game. You've given up that right, I think.
But DayZ got that spot on, proximity chat. So if I lose you, if we're playing a game together, Ben, and you are in a different part of the map to me, I've got no way of talking to you. Unless it's like a radio or something else, we have to be in vicinity of each other to actually pick up.
Yeah.
If you could do it, it's an radio frequency or something like that, you know what I mean? And other people could hear it or something like that. But, or just the fact that you can physically hear their voices as you get closer.
Yeah.
That would just add so much to games for me. Imagine that in like Counter-Strike or, the real communication games, Rainbow Six Siege. Like, that would just be phenomenal. I can hear a voice out there, they're talking, they're saying they're coming in the door. I'm going to edge round here and move away from them. It would make the decision making of when to talk an actual key feature of the game. And that would excite me, yeah.
I think we're just starting to see innovation in the audio realm in games. I don't know if you guys have heard of the PC game Clandestine, the indie game. It's 2-player co-op, where one of you plays a spy and the other plays their tech backup.
I might have a Steam code for that.
Well, if you want to give it to me, because I've been itching to play it, although we need 2 people. But the whole point is the operative is just playing a standard third-person shooter, but this tech support guy is just a dude in a room with a bunch of monitors, and they have access to security feeds, etc. And you voice talk, warning people like, "Oh, around the corner, there's 2 guys. Hold back," or whatever. So you end up doing this tactical planning, but with the 2 actual roles that you would have in quote unquote in the real world. it seems super interesting, but again, I think I wouldn't want to do a pickup game with that. Like it's almost like they should only sell it in 2-packs.
Yeah.
I mean, you have got. I think it's called Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
Oh yeah.
Which is where it's a dual screen game. One person has a manual, and one person has a bomb in front of them, and the person with the bomb in front of them has to describe the bomb to the person with the manual, and they will then derive the instructions that they need to carry out to deactivate the bomb.
Yeah,
and that's a really interesting mechanic for a game.
It's apparently a great party game.
Yeah, I can imagine it is. Yeah. It'd be really, really interesting to play, especially even if you're doing it with someone in a room. You've got 2 computers each, or trying to do it over
2
Skype
computers
as well.
each. Are you going to play like simultaneously 2 bombs?
Exactly. 2 computers each at one. Yes. I mean, there's a huge amount of scope to be able to expand upon that. And taking something like that with the idea of DayZ and having this radius of speech where everyone within 30 meters of you within game can hear what you're saying would be really interesting. And, like you say, with something like Rainbow Six Siege, if you had a radio and you're able to talk to your team, but a person on the other side of a wall can hear what you're saying because you're within their radius, would just be almost fantastic to experience.
Or even like make a player class a audio hacker, and one of these class things is that he can listen at the radio of the other people talking.
Yeah.
You know, and if they're within a certain facility, so they're then communicating to the other people in their team what they're coming from there. They're saying this or they're doing that. Yeah. And it just, as you said, the audio dynamic of games is something that is really, really going to, I think, change a lot. So, yeah.
I think, and part of that is because we've been concentrated on graphics so much over the past a billion years that, and it's starting to be obvious that the consumers noticing this staleness. Like even the Call of Duty fans who buy it every year have been grumbling since a Black Ops 3 came out that like. Why? Yeah, why am I sort of playing Titanfall-esque Call of Duty? It's the only thing different is I can run on a wall. I'm just like I've seen forum posts, etc., from diehard fans who, of course, will buy the next one and bought this one, but there's less of an excitement going on, and I think it's just because we're missing that sort of innovative next step. And audio has basically been no audio and then TeamSpeak. And then games putting TeamSpeak directly in the game.
But I think just to close on that, and the problem with TeamSpeak is that a lot of times when I used to do a lot of raiding in World of Warcraft, you would go on TeamSpeak with 40 people.
Oh, God.
And you had very strict rules that only 2 or 3 people were actually allowed to speak during that raid to be able to talk through phases of bosses, to be able to give instruction about how to move through a dungeon.
Did you have to pass the conch shell?
They had a giant stick. They had a giant stick that they had to throw at each other. And so with something like TeamSpeak, it just became, especially with World of Warcraft, it was you're just listening to instruction as opposed to actually interacting with the other people.
I think that's probably the problem with sort of audio on the large team, like the alliance scale. Because I mean, even with like 6 to 10 people on like a Team Fortress 2 side, you could do chatter, which also involved being dumb and just talking.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
I cracked open a beer, and
Ooh.
I just took a big gulp and then realized I hadn't actually mentioned this. It's the Rogue, which we've talked about before, Rogue Shakespeare Oatmeal Stout.
Nice.
For you two, this is apparently Shakespeare.
What?
Well, or it's just they've decided to put a random dude in a weird hat on their Shakespeare oatmeal stout.
It looks like he's wearing a tie.
Oh, no, it's a ruffled shirt, actually. Listeners, just Google Rogue Shakespeare oatmeal stout and you'll see what I'm talking about.
He looks more like one of the Three Musketeers with
that's what I was
full
thinking.
moustache.
Now, it's a World Stout Champion.
Ooh.
And I will read you the description. Ebony in color with a rich creamy head, an earthy flavor that comes from oats, and a mellow chocolate aftertaste. And for some reason, oh my god, I just realized they have these icons that I didn't understand. They're a bullhead and then a glass and a weird pie. They're tasting. They're pairing notes.
Have it
this with beef.
Cow's head or pie and wine.
I believe it's have it at dessert time and with beef. But I've never seen that on a beer.
So let me see. So the beer that's got a chocolate aftertaste, you should have at dessert time?
Yeah.
You don't need a logo for that.
Oh, but what if you had cow head?
I've never had cow head, so I don't know.
Wow.
Head from a cow? Is that where you're thinking?
Yeah, that's what I was going down.
So it's darker than the last one. The head's thicker. It's been poured for about 3 minutes, and you can still see some head going on while the other one sort of disappeared. It also, the creaminess is clear because the head has legs, if I can borrow a term from wine, in that it sort of stays coating on the glass as you tilt it.
Yeah.
So sort of it adheres because it's a little thicker.
Nice, nice.
You definitely get that sugary maltiness right off the bat on the nose. I'm still under the weather, so I'm probably missing things, but it's quite sweet. A little sickly sweet.
That being the chocolate, I imagine.
To show what a professional podcaster I am, I'll be back in a minute.
I'll continue. It sort of starts with an immediate hit of a tartness, and then rapidly sort of moves to that smoother cocoa-ish. I wouldn't say chocolate. I would say more cocoa. So it's got that bitter note.
Yeah, slightly more roasted kind of flavour than a sweeter sort of chocolate kind of.
And then the finish, reasonably long, but it's the bitterness that sort of stays. Not really strong, but it's that sort of that bitter taste, which is again actually quite enjoyable. It just sort of lingers for at least 30 seconds, but I keep taking sips. So
yeah, no, nice. I've also opened up my third beer, and I'm quite gassy from the last two, so pardon me. But I thought I'd go with another beer from Cloudwater. Alex and I had the I can't remember what it was. It was a Lapsang flavoured beer last week, which was a sour, which we weren't so keen on. So I thought I'd try a Cloudwater, which was not a sour. This one's a black IPA to finish up on.
Is that because it's more urban than the traditional IPAs?
That's exactly what it is. As I say, it's all about the streets. So Ross, as you've just rejoined us, I'm now drinking a Cloudwater black IPA, and Alex and I had a sour by Cloudwater, and we were a bit off on it last week. So I thought I'd try this one just to give Cloudwater not another chance as such, but just to see what else they offered.
Well, I think that's fair because sour is probably Tanked Up's favorite type of beer.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not getting a huge amount from this black IPA. It's kind of got that almost... I don't know what it is with black IPAs. You kind of get that sort of stouty smell to them. And so, I mean, yeah.
Now, is this like a maltiness? Not bitter?
I think the... Wow. That's really fucking good.
That is excellent. That is quite the 180, my friend.
Well,
Nothing else needs to be said.
Yeah.
No.
That just should be on the bottle.
Yeah.
Really fucking good.
Really fucking good. Ben Miller.
I'm finding that very difficult to actually tell you what it is.
Why
It's
don't I
not
just...
sort of. I can tell you what it's not. It's almost.
The podcast is only so long, but let's...
I mean, it's kind of got that slightly roasted kind of aftertaste to it. You don't get that much on the tongue at all. You don't get that much straight away. You don't get that from the nose.
I was going to say, the nose... It sounds like the nose and the taste are completely separate.
Yeah, they are. But you've almost got a sweet... Not chocolatey, but there is a sweetness to the start of it, and it kind of fades out into a much more roasted, almost coffee-type flavour at the end. I fucking love coffee, so that's probably why I'm really enjoying this.
That sounds good. Nice and rich.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is very rich, yeah.
Actually, this second stout has more coffee taste in it than the first, and I quite enjoy it as well for that reason.
I'm going to check this out, I think.
Yeah,
It's,
Cloudwater Black IPA. It's part of their winter range, as it says.
Where's Cloudwater from again?
I believe they're London, although I might be completely wrong. It is made in Manchester. So I was completely wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry, people from Manchester.
Or London.
Or London, yeah, well, either of those have been insulted, so that's what we try and do.
Dear. You see that this beer comes from our town.
So, as we're all beard up, as such.
Beard and bearded.
Beard and bearded. Shall we move on to our topic, which I suppose our preface with saying that it's about diversity in games, really. That is the main topic. But this is...
Can I seek clarification? Is this in games or in gaming as an industry?
So, well...
I would think we were...
I'm not talking about Gamergate. I'm not going into that, but this is external from the actual game itself and people reacting to something in a game.
Whatever you want to talk about, Ross. Whatever you want to bring.
It probably treads the line between the two. It definitely is inspired by the reaction to the former.
Yeah.
Do you want to just tell us what Baldur's Gate is there?
So, Baldur's Gate is a very old game. There's been, I believe, 2 of them. This, which is an expansion called Siege of Dragonspear, has been released. It's being developed by a new studio, the name of which has gone from my mind, but is probably a very important aspect, which we'll find out in a moment. And they have included within the expansion a transgender character. Now, this transgender character is, I would imagine, and from the things that I have been reading, the first transgender character to appear in a... Sorry?
Beamdog.
Beamdog, that's it. That's the developer. This is the first transgender character, I believe, to appear in a Baldur's Gate game. Now, lots of people have taken umbrage to this and aren't very happy for a variety of reasons about the appearance of a transgender character.
Is there a variety, or is there just really the one?
Yeah, well, it's been veiled a lot within comments about the game.
So, to be clear, I read a wonderful satirical article that I wish I remembered who wrote it. I'll try and dig it up and maybe we can put it on the Twitter. Which referenced the fact that it's one character who you don't have to talk to, who you have to ask a specific, I think it's 3 stages of a dialogue tree in order to get to the revelation that they were raised as a boy, but they feel like they're a female, and so they changed their name. So it's such a tiny part of the game, but as soon as people found out about it and posted it, it just became I'm going to go play this game. I know which things I'm going to find this character. I know which 3 things I need to say so that I can be outraged.
So let's talk about the external element of this first. Let's talk about the perceived outrage that has appeared on the internet because of the inclusion of this character.
I'm outraged at the outrage.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, I suppose we try and bring topics like this to Tanked Up and talk about things, but unfortunately we have people with very similar minds when it comes to talking about this. And
wait, are you trying to say that we're going to be biased? Are you trying to tread a line? No, fuck that, Ben.
Comment number 1: these motherfuckers are biased.
I don't care, because this is obviously just ridiculous hate. Like, I'm not comfortable with this concept, so I'm going to yell at you because I want to make sure all the ogres and dragons only were born and raised as male ogres and male ogres, or female ogres and female ogres.
That would be interesting, as if they counterbalanced it and later in the game there was an ogre with the same dialogue tree and you found
that'd
out.
Be amazing, yeah.
I can't relate to this character. It's fucking 25 foot tall and it's only got 1 eye. I don't understand.
You used to have 2. No, oh no, that's oh, that's why you get me on podcasts for that one comment.
True.
No, do any of you know any? Do you have transgender friends or anything like that?
I have a good friend from high school recently came out with her feelings of living as a male, but really feeling like a female. But I haven't actually talked to her in ages. Interestingly, she came out in high school. Well, he came out in high school as gay, so he's always been sort of one of my first actual out homosexual friends. And it turns out that he wasn't homosexual at all, because as soon as he got the gender paradigm right, he was sort of interested in the right type of people, if you forgive that term of rightness, because I don't actually mean rightness in a strong way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very similar. I've got a couple of friends who I used to drink with quite a lot in my younger days, who have one of which who has transgendered. Is that
is
right
transgendered.
Yes.
And
one of which...
I do like that term, though. Has oh my god, this beer's good. Has transgendered.
I do.
So that's a good term.
Yeah, so I suppose we, as people who know people who have gone through this process, maybe we probably are a little bit biased.
No. Empathy does not require direct...
No, it's completely not, no. Being a nice human does not require you to actually know a human who has gone through said experience.
I didn't. I genuinely didn't. I knew I used to work in pubs. Yeah. And we had a male vocalist that could also play female parts, and then as things go forward, so he's away. I've not seen him in years, or her, sorry, I should say now. And then there's Laura Kate, who's the Destructoid UK editor. And if you ever, I've had the pleasure of meeting her. And if you've ever spoken to her, like the trials, the stuff that she's been through, because she's probably more in the public eye.
Completely, yeah, definitely.
And I think it takes someone like Laura Kate Dale to just do what she wants to do in the public eye, and people see exactly all the hardships that she's had to go through, as well as all the good times.
Completely.
I mean, join on that journey to become accepting. Definitely.
If you listen to the Jimquisition, which she appears on every week, you may have heard that Jim Sterling, for about the first 5-10 minutes of one of the episodes, really pushed, because she has been pushed back on a list with the NHS to actually undergo the surgery that's needed. And she's trying to fund being able to do this. So Jim Sterling, for 10 minutes or so, maybe it's not. It can't be for even that long. He basically tried to push people helping her out to be able to fund this, and the amount of vitriol that he got for doing that from people that listened to the podcast and others was just absurd. Just
Well, it's because the sort of Gamergate segment of gamers, which unfortunately are the most vocal because, for standard reasons, the enraged, usually right-wing minorities have this really great
typecasting.
have this really. If you band together, your voice sounds louder than it is, and with everyone else, there's not really a reason for us to band together as regular human beings who understand that our perspective isn't the only perspective.
I also think if you're as vocal as Jim Sterling, then you're going to get that vocal backlash as well.
Yeah.
You know, and that is that if you are this outspoken, I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel, you've got to expect that back. Well, he does expect that back.
Yes, he does, yeah.
He was speaking on behalf of someone else. Now, she actually got her funding.
Oh, good.
Within days.
Which shows what the sort of actual population is probably, what their perspective is, right? But what is interesting about this is that the expansion's been out for, less than a week?
Mm-hmm.
And its Steam and Good Old Games and Metacritic scores are in the toilet because the outraged people, most of which I'm going to gamble haven't bought, let alone played, let alone found the right character, have just been putting 0-star reviews because of the writing.
Yeah, I think
as if to say that one line of dialogue can invalidate all of the writing.
Yeah, that was one of the things with Good Old Games is that you don't actually have to have purchased the game to be able to review it.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have been able to just go on and put their stream of consciousness down for others to see.
My issue is that makes it, if a dev is going to make a choice now, do we include a character or do we not include a character? The choice is going to be no because of the backlash of what this has got. This is counterproductive.
Okay, so let's move on to how it actually feels for, or what it means for devs and what we're going to get in games.
Yeah,
as such.
So
sorry to interrupt you, Ross, but yes, so it's now counterproductive. Well, you feel it's
basically, if a developer from a commercial and severely financial point of view thinks, I've got this really well written transgender character I'm going to include, someone on the money side's going to go, well, wait a minute, have you seen what happened to Baldur's Gate?
Yeah.
Well, maybe just do the same character but not transgender.
Hollywood's problems finally hitting gaming, which is actually more of a money industry than Hollywood has been for a number of years. We're seeing that in a lot of things. Like we're seeing franchises, like I said earlier with Call of Duty, and franchises are less risky, and we can do the thing, and we want sales, so we're going to toe a line and not rock any boats, do what we think will accommodate and entertain the most people because we want money, because money is the point. And we're seeing that from almost all of the major studios, right? It's only the indie developers who are sort of trying new things, but luckily, in I would actually say indie developers in gaming have a better reach than indie filmmakers ever have.
Completely. Especially
with the new generation of consoles. Both Xbox has always been really kind to indie developers, and they've just released their SDK for anyone who has an Xbox One can just sort of get the SDK part of the software for free now as of last week.
Out of Voice app coming soon.
And with Steam Early Access, no matter what you think about that, that's still giving reach. Whether the quality of that reach is good or bad is a different topic. But I did want to say, because I like talking, I'm going to just quote a writer on the game, Amber Scott, who said, I'm the writer and creator. I get to make decisions about who I write about and why. I don't like writing about straight, white, cis people all the time. It's not reflective of the real world. It sets up straight, white, cis as the quote-unquote normal, end quote, baseline from which other characters must be added. And it's boring. I consciously add as much diversity as I can to my writing, and I don't care if people think that it's forced or fake. I find choosing to write from a straight default just as artificial. I'm happy to be a social justice warrior, and I hope to write many social justice games in the future that reach as many different types of people as possible. Everyone should get a chance to see themselves reflected in pop culture.
And I completely agree. Even though I don't make games, and I'm not going to develop a game with these things in, if I was some kind of creator, why wouldn't you try and create such a diverse world with characters and backgrounds as our world exists?
Excluding gaming, I have a 5-year-old, and I really hoped that the world that he experiences at school and beyond was going to be different to even ours. Because I feel in the last 30, 40 years we've made, well, especially the last 10 to 15, so many boundaries have been broken, so many people are open about their sexuality, about the way they, really being themselves.
Yeah.
And I really thought, so in my young, I grew up in an area of Glasgow which has got a high Asian community. So I was very much in touch with lots of Asian, black, ethnic minorities, if you'd say, in general parts because of the area which I grew in. And as I got older and went to university and heard people just using derogatory terms towards them, I couldn't really understand it because it was how I was raised. And what I hope was that as these people, or as our kids are raised to see things in gaming, movies, TV as normal, as well as their daily life, they become more acceptant of it, and people can really evolve and just be themselves instead of hiding away. And unfortunately, with stuff like that, it just puts that seed of doubt in my mind that everything's going to be exactly the same for him growing up.
Can I just clarify, when you say Asian, you mean people from
Indian, Pakistani type. That's what we would describe as Asian.
I only say that because
American,
in North America, Asian usually means people from, this is not the best term, but the Orientals, right? People from the old Orient.
I get that. Yeah, it's funny.
So I thought I'd just clear that up on the spot. As an Asian, from the British standpoint, I didn't notice until very recently when I started paying attention, but I think I might like third-person action games more than first-person because I can relate to playing a character who doesn't look like me when I can see the whole character. And I just noticed that games I continually go back to are rarely FPSs unless it's like... Even Half-Life is a good example, though, because you're wearing a suit and whatever, right? And also... There's no talking. There's no characterization. It's very much...
Chief could be any color.
Yeah, and I think that's actually why Halo... One of the reasons why Halo was so successful is because Master Chief, you didn't even know. It's not like in Half-Life where you're like, well, I can just pretend. Like, I don't immediately think of what Gordon looks like. But with Halo, you literally didn't know it was under the helmet. He could be purple. And it's only recent that I realized that, that one of the reasons I play female characters a bunch, I think, is because if I'm going to have that dissonance, I might as well, explore things.
Isn't it Portal 2 where you're actually a female character and you only really see...
Portal 1.
Is it Portal 1?
You're chill.
Where you see her in a mirror and that's about all
right at the beginning of Portal 1, you see this person.
Yeah.
The fact that you get that on hand is quite impressive.
I was a small Lego person for the people that
Can
can't
I just say,
see
I've now just moved on and I've opened up the best of the bunch.
The Drygate.
Drygate
so
IPA?
Just to explain. Drygate IPA. This is my local brewery, so it's a Glaswegian brewer, which I have had the pleasure of visiting. And in fact, if it wasn't for Drygate, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Nice.
Elaborate?
They got you into craft beer?
No.
Got him into podcasting,
even more so than
apparently.
that. So Out of Lice, which of course Tanked Up's a part of its network, all started from an IGN community. At the end of last January 2000, 15, I went to an IGN live event at the Drygate Brewery.
Okay.
We sat there and it was a live podcast, and I got speaking to a few guys like Gav Murphy, and thought, I really enjoy this. This is something I want to invest more time in. I had done some podcasts, but I was part of the Duck Hunters group. We talked about doing a podcast. They'd started a couple of episodes, and it was called the Mighty Duck Podcast.
Yeah, which got torn down very quickly, right?
For legal reasons. Supposedly there's a sports team with the same name.
No, never heard of it.
I know there was this small indie film, but it had something to do with Iceland, so not a lot of people must have watched it, right?
Yeah, who is this Disney? But basically, so a year later, we are now out of life, and it's progressed so much, and we've got the pleasure of having amazing guys like you coming onto the network and doing some fantastic things and talking about subjects that we all want to talk about and hear. And beer and gaming, it's the most niche but fantastic podcast I've ever heard. I told Scott Sedman in the group, I was like, I need to get these guys. These are my first pick of who I want.
I have my arms in the air currently.
Yeah, absolutely.
That we have. But this is why we talk about things like diversity, because it's not because we drink and you're so inebriated that you're just able to talk how you want to be able to talk. I think so when we have guests like yourself on, Ross, and other people that we've had on, it just opens you up a little bit more to being able to discuss slightly harder topics, which we definitely want to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
Don't smile at the word harder.
I'm not smiling at harder. I'm just smiling. I was actually just thinking about, are you the guys that are going to get me sued? That's what I was thinking.
Probably.
I will say
that I am generally the most controversial, so that coming from me says quite a lot.
I will say that it wasn't
rest
until...
in peace, Paul Daniels.
Oh,
but no, that was weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
Think of Debbie. Come on.
Yeah, I know she's single now. It's great.
I think I might have peaked the audio there. Sorry, that caught me off guard.
But no, just talking about diversity and things like that, or beer. Beer brought me together with the Duck Hunters, the group that created this podcast, and diversity. Sometimes the internet can be the most diverse group of people. But all you need is one saying. So the IGN group I'll use as an example. Duck Hunt, that term Duck Hunt, when that was created, it was just the IGN Facebook group. I went to the IGN live event in October, and there was literally 40 people in a bar before the event all shouting out Duck Hunt to one another and having a blast, and we knew each other and everything else. All you need is that. Maybe this is what Hitler thought, but all you need is that one philosophy and one person to say it.
That's what Donald Trump currently thinks. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
think small.
Yeah, one person in that group, a very vocal member, said something, and so many people jumped on board. Yeah. And that's probably a huge range of diverse people from different backgrounds that are all jumping on board with this one topic that they can all feel united about.
Yes.
Now, we can all feel united because we disagree with them.
Yeah. I was going to say,
completely.
In anthropology, there's the term other, the other.
Yeah.
And othering is a thing that humans seem to do naturally, which lots of theories about evolution, different tribes, etc., and it's safer to distrust the other. But the internet is sort of this double-edged sword because on the one hand, there's people you would never have met or interacted with from all kinds of backgrounds which you would traditionally sort of view as the other, but they share enough in common with you that they're part of your tribe in some respect, and you can really bond with them that way. But we still have this othering thing, but because the internet's like a megaphone, right? So, like I said, the small minority gets a huge voice if they so choose. So you can really badger and pick on and highlight the other group that you whatever reason you don't like, and that's, I think, is Gamergate, that's Baldur's Gate, that's all the gates except Buttergate.
Yeah, I suppose just to put something else out, the developer of the new Baldur's Gate expansion has gone into an interview, or may have done a blog post, and has said to people, please, not please, he didn't beg as such, but he has said it would be great if everyone who enjoyed the game went out and gave it a positive review to balance out the negative reviews that we have got. And I don't know whether that has happened or not, but it does seem, and I mean it's with everything on the internet, that the negative comments will always exceed the positive comments. There will always be more negative comments than there will positive comments. So
it's human nature.
It is, but as a resounding message from the Tanked Up podcast, be positive, be nice, don't be a cunt.
Yeah. The sad thing is he's
nice.
He's essentially he's saying, please God, let me get to neutral.
No, we're not talking about God. Don't allow God into this. Sorry, that's a different. Go back
to
our other episode.
He's literally saying,
God,
I would really like if all the fans.
Please don't.
All the fans who really love this game could get me to a neutral review state, and that's just sad.
Completely.
I'm going to go and give him a positive review just now. I've never played it, but yeah, he deserves it.
What's also funny is the fact that people think somehow the game is ruined. Like Baldur's Gate, which has been around for over a decade. How long? 15 years?
Yeah, it's got to be more than that. I played the original,
20.
and that's got to have been.
Oh, it's Baldur's Gate 1.
30. Yeah, that's got to have been. I must have been maybe 16 or 17. So we're looking at not quite 15 years ago, but maybe 13 or 14 years ago. Yeah.
And one piece of dialogue for an NPC can really ruin a franchise like that, which is the claim. Like, from a purely logical perspective, your claim is shit.
Completely.
We'll have to buy the
Don't say any more. That is...
Yeah, fair enough.
From a logical perspective, your claim is shit.
And by the way, I actually am a logician, so that means something.
Not a magician. Not like Paul Daniels.
Yeah, I used to introduce myself as a logician when I met people, especially in bars, because they would just do this double take, and half of them would say, "Did you say magician?" And the other half would be like... And invariably, everyone would agree that it's too bad I'm not a magician.
Yeah, no, they didn't actually know what that was.
No. And once I sort of told them, I became less excited.
Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Right, we shall finish there for this week, for this episode. Pimp yourselves. Ross, go first.
Hold on,
you've got
we
lots
do
of
beers first.
Shit, yeah, don't worry about pimping.
Drunk bastard.
I tell you what, these beers have gone to my head, so I'm completely forgetting everything that we
Ross,
do.
what's your beer of the week?
Ever. Beers of the week. My beer of the week, I think.
I asked our guest.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just...
Well,
I'll shrink into
maybe
the
not
corner
for
of
taste.
the screen.
If I'm not going to lie, the Coons Champ was absolutely fantastic, right?
Really?
Champion was really, really good. I really enjoyed that because it's so rich and enjoyable. But just because I have, and as other people will probably agree with in that sense, so much attached to the Drygate Brewery.
Yeah.
That's my beer of the week.
And again, this is the Drygate IPA, right?
It's a Drygate IPA inspired by Trident Forging Cyclops of Brute Strength and Singular Vision Smooth Caramel Citrus Zest.
Awesome.
Nice. Adol?
I'm going to have to go with the Rogue Shakespeare Oatmeal Stout. It's a little more nuanced. It turns out the Martello Stout is actually, according to the label, also is a full-bodied oatmeal stout. But it's not full-bodied.
Okay.
Like, I would say the Martello Stout is full-bodied in the sense of what people on the internet call full-bodied when they evaluate celebrities, while the Rogue Oatmeal Stout is full-bodied as in what was found attractive during the Renaissance.
Nice. Good callback to
the Renaissance?
300-400 years ago? Yes, excellent. I think this week, opposite to last week, I'm going to go with the Cloudwater.
Oh.
Over the Wiper and True as well.
I was going to say, there's a Wiper and True and it's not winning.
Gasp. The Wiper and True was a great beer. The first beer I had, the Powder Keg, was nice, a little more traditionally English, not quite the hoppy beer I thought it was going to be. But yeah, the Cloudwater Black IPA, just fantastic taste. Ross is posing and drinking at the same time that he really enjoys his beer. Perhaps the Drygate IPA is the beer of the week.
if only because it helped birth the Out of Life Network.
Yes.
Yeah. So if it wasn't for the Drygate Brewery, as I said, I wouldn't be sat here now, slightly inebriated.
Excellent. Right, now we can pimp out our things.
Right.
Go. Someone who's not me.
I'm just going to say, for all the podcasts at the Out of Life Network, do go to outoflife.net, which will be relaunched at one point. Probably sooner than later. Other than that, we're launching... this is the first person that people have told this publicly to. So we're launching a new Xbox podcast, which comes under the Xbox One subreddit, and is the official podcast of the Xbox One subreddit.
Nice.
We're recording that all this week, so I've got 5 or 6 interviews this week.
Oh, wow.
And including Major Nelson on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be a busy week, so that'll be myself and an American friend, Uncle Jesse, who's absolutely fantastic and is known the subreddit. But should be fun if you're an Xboxer like myself, that's you. Then that will probably interest you. If you've been like the majority of normal people and bought a PS4, then it won't.
Speaking of Reddits and subreddits, we've also actually started to put content on the Out of Lives subreddit /r/Out of Lives. So go there, say things.
Yeah.
We're
every single bit.
respond.
In fact, that's the best place to go. Fuck the website. Just go to the Out of Life subreddit. It's every single bit of content that we put out goes onto that subreddit automatically. So if you want to keep up to date, just add that to your favourites and you'll see everything.
Nice,
yeah.
Good. And I suppose
thanks to someone.
a massive point towards Adel there for sorting out. And you can find Out of Lives on Twitter at Out of Lives Podcast.
Just pod.
Just pod.
You
Okay,
gotta save those characters, man.
Yeah, I suppose that's very true. It's very true.
Hey, speaking of podcast Twitter accounts.
Oh, I was going to come in. I was going to allow Ross to... What is your personal Twitter account if people want to shout at you about Drygate Brewery?
I don't give that out in case the child services come.
That's fair.
Because this is going to get a bottle put on it.
Also,
like
the phrase child services come feels like it should be an oxymoron.
Poor choice of words. It's Ross M84.
Nice.
Which is maybe 1984.
Which is
your favourite book?
I was going to say, which is also your gamer tag, I understand, right?
Yeah, it is Ross M 1984. Yeah. I'm so original, but there's a running joke. I'm on another podcast called My Xbox and Me that when people write into that podcast, they say, "How's Ross 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9" sort of thing.
Nice.
Doing that. So that's a running joke because I was born in the 80s. Everyone put the year they were born after their username on
never
Yahoo
did
chat.
that.
Hey, unless you were us, because I am at Nova _47.
There you go.
And
he was born in 1947.
Well, yeah, that's how old I was. / that I've got no hair and that I was once compared to Agent 47.
Oh, is that what that's for?
Okay. Yes, it is.
I never knew.
Yes.
Oh.
And Nova, because it suits, because my surname's
Well,
Nova.
I was going to say no.
Very,
Nova.
very short. You can also get us on Twitter at @tankedup_cast. Adel, you can get at
the Omniarch, which has been my handle since grade 5. I was born in 83, so this is a long time ago. And only recently, in the past 6 months, have there been other Omniarchs showing up on the internet. And that's why I don't have a Twitch account at the Omniarch or Omniarch, because both were taken. Turns out a guy on YouTube who calls himself Omniarch couldn't get Omniarch on Twitch, so took the Omniarch.
As soon as you become semi-famous
I'm sure
podcasting networks,
I'm sure they have no idea who I am.
steals your name.
But yeah, at the Omniarch, and you can also reach us at Tanked Up Pod.
Tanked Up _cast on Twitter.
No.
Get
Gmail.
that changed. Get that changed.
Well, yeah. Possibly Tanked Up was taken by
a German shipping company?
No, well, maybe. A television series all about fish tanks.
Oh, right, Tanked Up. Yeah, if you YouTube search Tanked Up.
Don't exist anymore, so maybe we'll try and steal that. You can also go to our YouTube page, which is Tanked Up Cast. We've got a Gmail account. You can send feedback to us. You probably won't, but that's also tankedupcast@gmail.com.
Feel free to review us on iTunes / just contact Out of Lives in general. We all are interested in what you guys are thinking and what you enjoy.
Definitely. And there's a wide variety of podcasts on the Out of Lives network, which include the Out of Lives podcast, which is about games, movies.
TV. It's the most general of them all, yeah.
Yeah. You've got Out of the Crossfire, which is a PlayStation-centric podcast. You've also got Out of Nowhere, which is a wrestling podcast. If you like men in pants hitting each other, that's the podcast to listen to.
And hugging.
And hugging, men who hit each other and then hug about it afterwards. And then
we're going to get hate mail.
I'm going to say, see if you listen to one episode, listen to the episode that the boss v Simon Miller.
Okay.
That is the best one. I don't know who this boss guy is, but he's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, we linked up with Video Gamer, with Simon Miller from the website videogamer.com.
Yeah.
Nice. So, for another week,
the plugs.
That is probably it. Take it easy, guys. Thank you very much for listening.
Ciao.
Bye.
I'm going to leave that just as it was.
Anytime that we try and have a slightly more sensitive conversation about a topic, because we're pissed, we probably come off as quite brash and heavy-handed about it. We did an episode chatting about Anita Sarkeesian. What I took away from that episode was at the end, we all just basically said that everyone's a cunt. That was bottom line. Whether you liked her or not, everyone was a cunt. So that's sort of the heavy-handedness we like to go with.